G'day everyone, welcome to Inside Rugby with Mark. My name's Mark. I'm a Kiwi rugby fan who's living here in beautiful, wet Cancun today. And in this video I'm going to be talking about the international test match that's coming up this weekend between Wales and South Africa that's going to be played at Twickenham. I'm going to go through the two teams and give you my views on how I think this game's going to go. G'day everyone and welcome back to the channel. I'm coming back after a little bit of a break for a week or so. I took some time off this YouTube thing and got away from all that making videos and stuff, and now I'm back in time for the international test series that are going to happen throughout the summer. We've got England, of course, going down to New Zealand. They're going to be playing Japan this weekend on their way to New Zealand, so that's going to be an interesting one. And of course this weekend we've got Wales against the Springboks as well, which I'm going to talk about in this particular video. And don't forget, also this weekend we've got the final of the URC Championship between the Bulls and the Glasgow Warriors. It's going to be played down there at Loftus Versfeld in Pretoria, so that's going to be a fantastic game as well. Check out my video that'll be coming out in the next couple of days looking at the preview for that particular game. And don't forget, on my channel you won't only just get the previews and my thoughts about the upcoming games, but you'll also get my in-depth analysis after the game. So there's a good reason for you to subscribe if you haven't already to my channel. Okay, let's take a look at the two teams. They're going to be playing on Saturday at Twickenham. Neutral ground for this one. Warren Gatland's team, Wales, and of course Rassie Erasmus with the Springboks. And as we're already entering into the international test series this summer, we're finding out that a number of teams have got a lot of injury worries, and that's going to impact the quality, I think, of some of these games we're going to see. Okay, let's start off with these two teams for this game between Wales and the Springboks, and let's take a look at Wales first of all, and we'll start off with their backline. Okay, so going through the Welsh backline for this game against the Springboks, and at fullback we've got Winnett. On the wings we've got Dyer and we've got Williams. I've been impressed with Cam Winnett for a while now, and I think he's a solid number 15 for Wales at the back. He brings an attacking flair opportunity, but he's good in defence and his kicking is pretty good as well in general play. So look for a big game from him in the weekend. And then moving on to the centres, we've got Watkin and we've got Grady. Good to see Grady getting a start here at inside centre this weekend. He's a great player, I reckon. I think he's going to add a lot of spice to this Welsh backline, and they're going to need it coming up against this Springbok team. And then inside at number 10, this is where I think Wales have got one of their biggest problems. Sam Costello's in there for this particular game, but Warren Gatland has said openly he's looking for a bigger and more robust number 10, and Sam Costello has been unfortunate in a couple of games that I've watched anyway, where he really hasn't hit the mark as far as his kicking or his general play goes. So it's going to be interesting to see how he goes. And then coming in at halfback, we've got Bevan this weekend for Wales. That's going to be an interesting selection to see how he goes. I've seen a number of people say online that he's not very good when it comes to decision making. I actually haven't seen him play before, so I'll be keeping a close eye on Bevan at number 9. And then moving on to the reserve backs in this game for Wales, and we've got Davies, James and Beetham. So three good characters there, and it's going to be vital, I think, for Wales bench, both in the forwards and the backs, on how they get on in this game. So there we go, that's the Welsh backline for this game. I think they're going to be facing a few problems from the Springboks, and I'll talk about that a little bit more when I go through the Springboks team. But let's have a look at the Welsh forwards. So it's been no secret that Warren Gatland has said he's struggling a little bit when it comes to covering some positions at the moment in this Welsh team, and we probably see that in the forwards. And starting off in the back row, we've got Wainwright. Had a couple of really good games in the Six Nations, but then he fell off in a couple of games as well. He'll be looking for a more consistent performance in this summer series, particularly when Wales go down under to tour Australia. And then in the flankers we've got Plumtree and Botham. Now these guys are going to have to step up because they're up against really tough competition, and I think this is where the game is going to be fairly pivotal for Wales. If they're able to get some kind of ball from the breakdown and set piece around the back three, it's going to enable them to get their backs away, and in particular Grady to have an impact on this game. But they're up against some ferocious back three from South Africa, and I think they're going to struggle, to be honest. So there we go, we've got Botham and Plumtree sitting in there on the flanks for this particular game. Then moving into the locks for Wales, we've got Screech and Carter. So a new pairing here, going to be interesting to see how they go. Again, they're up against a very tough type 5 in the Springboks pack, so they're going to be working hard all day to get some ball, and they're going to have a very, very good game to make an impact, I think, for Wales. And then moving into the front row, we've got Gareth Thomas and Henry Thomas as the props, and we've got Dewey Lake in there at hooker for Wales for this game. So while it's an inexperienced pack for Wales, they're going to be up against the might of a very tough South African pack, not only the starting 8 for South Africa, but those players that are going to come in off the bench, and I think that's going to be one of the pivotal moments of this particular game. But that's the Welsh forwards that are going to start the game. Let's have a look at the reserves that are going to come on for them in the forwards. We've got Lloyd, Mateus, Azarati, Ratty and Martin. So some good substitutes to come on for Wales, but I think this is going to be an area of the game where they're going to struggle against the South African forward pack, and also the bench that's going to come on for South Africa. And I think they're going to come up against a might that they're not going to be able to handle over the course of 80 minutes, and that's going to give the Springboks a good platform, I believe, to go on and score plenty of points in this game. So there we go. Don't forget, the Springboks have made a number of changes because of the fact they didn't pick any of the players playing in the UK for this particular game. And of course the Bulls are playing against the Glasgow Warriors on the weekend as well, so that excludes some players. And it's a shame, because I wanted to see Cameron Honeycomb running out in a Springbok jersey, because boy did that guy play a fantastic game against Leinster last week. And I'll talk more about that in my preview of the URC Championship final coming up this weekend between the Glasgow Warriors and the Bulls down there in Pretoria. But let's have a look at the Springbok team now that's going to take to the field on Saturday against Wales, and we'll start off in the back line. Now, I've got to say, when it comes to this South African backline, I'm pretty excited actually. We've got a couple of the superstars not playing in this game, but when it comes to some players that I really enjoy watching, we've got one at fullback, Fussy, who I think is really, really fantastic, and I think he's going to light this game up. So he's going to be there at fullback. And then on the wings, we've got Van der Merwe and we've got Mapimpi on the other wing. And Mapimpi, well, we all know how lightning fast he is, but he can also score tries from anywhere. So the back three for me for South Africa are going to have big impact on this game, and look at them being quite offensive when they get the opportunity. And then coming into the centres, we've got Jesse Kriel at outside centre, and then Andre Esterhuizen in the inside centre. And we all know how big and strong Esterhuizen is. He'll be looking to put his mark on this game and to show Rassie that he should be given an opportunity going forward in the Springbok team. So I really like the centre pairing of Kriel and Esterhuizen for this game. Coming into the 10 and 9 position for the Springboks in this game, we've got Jordan Henry out there at number 10. That's going to be really interesting to see how he goes. And we've got Faf de Klerk in at number 9. So he'll be the steady rock, and he'll be the guy that puts up a lot of box kicks as well to really test this Welsh team. And I expect that to be one of the Springboks plays, but I'll get into that more later on in the video. So that's the backline for the Springboks. I think a very exciting backline, even though they haven't been able to pick some of their superstars because of injury and other reasons. But I think this backline is going to do a very, very good job indeed. Let me know what you think in the comments about this particular backline for the Springboks. Have a look at the reserve backs for the Springboks, and we've got Grant Williams in there, one of my favourite players, Feinberg Mongazulu and Damien Dialandi. So good back three for the Springboks, and expect them to come on and really make a difference in the game. We all know how good Dialandi is, and Grant Williams with that electrifying pace. I've said in previous videos from last year that I think Grant Williams heading into the 2027 Rugby World Cup in Australia is going to be one of the superstars of that particular tournament. So it's going to be good to see how he comes on and makes a potential impact in this game against Wales on Saturday. Okay, let's move into the forwards now and have a look at the Springbok pack that's going to start the game. And starting off in number 8, it's Evan Roos, and what a great player he's been and continues to be. And he's given an opportunity. And I think, as I said, Cameron Honeycomb would have been in that shirt, I'm pretty sure, if he didn't have a responsibility to the Bulls this weekend. So then we're moving on to the flankers for the Springboks to start this game. We've got Peter Steph de Toy, who's going to be captain for the Springboks this weekend. Congratulations to him on that honour. And then on the other side, we've got Quagga Smith, and we all know how versatile and fantastic Quagga Smith is. So expect these back three for the Springboks really to give the Welsh team a hard time at the breakdown. And I expect this is where the Springboks are going to win a lot of ball. Moving on to the tight five for the Springboks, and in the locking position we've got Etzebeth and we've got Mostard. Now these two have started together on a number of occasions. They're fantastic players, of course, and again this is where I think the Springboks are going to have a great advantage over Wales this weekend, particularly from set piece. I think Etzebeth and Mostard are going to get a lot of good line out ball. They're going to be very, very good in the scrums, of course, but expect to see them in the breakdown and the clean outs getting a lot of ball for the Springboks as well. Big games from both those two guys. And then we move into the Springboks front three, and this is again where I think they're going to have an advantage over Wales in this game. They've just got too much experience, too much power, and too much know-how for these particular players. And Vincent Goh is a fantastic player, as well as we've got Malcolm Marx coming back, of course, playing his first game since we saw him in the Springbok jersey at the Rugby World Cup. Unfortunately, that was cut short due to that injury he had. And we've got Oxen Chair, and we all know what he can bring to the front three. So a fantastic front three starting this game for South Africa, and I expect them to have dominance over the Welsh team in the set pieces. So expect to see the Springboks being able to use quality ball from the base of their scrum in this game and set those backs on fire to be able to score some points. Okay, so looking at the bench for the Springboks and the forwards, and of course this is an area of the game that I think they're going to have a very strong advantage over Wales. They've got Bonami coming on, Machunu coming on, Malherbe coming on, Morat coming on, and Dixon the final player there. So a very strong bench for the Springboks, and I expect them, when they do come on, they're going to be able to add another level to this game. And if Wales are already behind in this game, then this is going to create a lot more pressure for them. So a great Springbok team, despite the players that they haven't been able to put in. We've got Cheslin Colby, of course, who's got that knee injury. Kurt Lianense is away with injury as well. And of course, we've got a couple of other players that we would normally see in the Springboks team who aren't playing in this particular game. But I don't think that's going to be a problem for the Springboks team. I think they're going to have too much for Wales across the park this weekend. And I think this inexperience and some of these new players that are coming in for Wales is going to cause a few problems for Warren Gatland and his strategy this weekend. However, I do agree with Gatland. He's got to give these players some chance against the top world teams so they can have that experience, and he can really work out whether or not they've got what it takes to play at that level. So we're going to find out, of course, in Twickenham on Saturday. So I think the Springboks are going to be way too strong for Wales, and this particular Springboks team, I see an opportunity for them to be doing a lot of offensive attacking play. Fassi from fullback, I think, is going to be one of the big players in this game, but I'm sure Mapimpi is going to score a try or two in this game against Wales, and expect this Welsh defence to be able to be opened up in the last 20 minutes of this game. And I think that's where the Springboks are going to put on most of their points. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if the first 20 minutes of this game is a little bit dour as both teams get into the rhythm of international rugby again. They're playing on neutral ground as well, which sometimes has a little bit of an impact on them. But I think we might see a little bit of rust from both teams there, just getting their coordinations together and their rhythm together in that first quarter of the game. But then after that, expect it to open up. I think the South Africans are going to go to the box kick from Faf de Klerk on a number of occasions. They're going to put the Welsh wingers and fullback under a lot of pressure. And of course, we've seen Mapimpi and what he can do under the high ball. And I'm sure Van der Verve and Fassi are going to be up there as well, trying to collect that ball and put South Africa on the front foot. But I think it's going to be in the forwards where South Africa is going to be too strong for this Welsh pack. They're going to be able to push them around. They're going to be able to get in there at the breakdown. I think with Quagga Smith and Peter Steph de Toy, they've got two outstanding players that can get in and win that early ball. The Jackal's going to be very effective in this game as well, and I think that's going to give the Springboks the momentum they need on the front foot to score a lot of points in this game. I think the Springboks are going to win by 20 to 25 points against Wales on Saturday. That's my prediction for this game. And if you watched any of my other previous predictions on any of the rugby games that I've talked about, you'll know that I can be way wrong. So let me know what you think is going to happen in this game by leaving your comments. Tell me what you think of both teams and what Warren Gatlin has done with the Welsh team, but also what Rassie has done with the available players that he's got for the Springboks team. Do you like this team, particularly in the backline? I think there's some exciting opportunities there. I'm really waiting to see how that Jesse Creel and Andre Esterhuizen pairing goes in the centres. That's going to be something I'm going to be watching out for in this particular game. Okay, so there you go. That's my prediction for the game on Saturday between Wales and the Springboks to be played at Twickenham. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think I've got the points margin the right way around? Or do you think Wales are going to cause an upset against this particular Springboks team? I don't think they're going to. I think the Springboks are going to be exciting to watch in this particular game. I think they've got a backline that can score a few points, and I think Wales are going to find it pretty tough. Now, don't forget, I'll be back after the game with a full in-depth review on how it all went, talking about those leading players that shone out and whether or not the two coaches got their strategy right to play this particular opposition. Of course, the Springboks are going to be getting ready for Ireland, who are coming down to South Africa for a 2-match series, and Wales are going to be heading off to Australia to do their summer tour down under. So a lot can be learnt from this particular game at Twickenham on Saturday. Okay, I'll see you all again soon back here on Inside Rugby with Mark. Until then, stay safe, stay well, and keep enjoying your rugby. Bye for now.